love what those guys did last night. Sorry, on Saturday night. I loved it.
Looks like The Rock loved night 1 main event of WrestleMania, but not so much night 2. And I gotta say, that's your fault, Rock. I am legit. I am mind blown at The Rock's recent interview with Pat McAfee and his explanation of why he didn't want to take part in the main event of night 2. You know, the storyline that he got started?
I want your soul.
I'm going to turn John Cena heel. He thought it didn't call for him to be a part of it, even though he was 100% the reason, the catalyst for it. So let's break it down. Let's look at this interview.
Let's get to the soul talk.
Hopefully I don't get any copyright strike on it, and I can keep it up so people can see that The Rock, DJ as he calls himself.
Speaking as DJ, as Rock, director of the board, and not final boss.
Because this isn't The Rock we're talking to. We're talking to Dwayne Johnson, I guess, here. Rock, I'm not really mad at you anymore. I'm more disappointed. I'm not even joking there. I am more disappointed. I've loved you, Rock, since you joined the Nation of Domination.
That's the gratitude I get from you pieces of crap.
Loved you up until probably WrestleMania main event, night 2. And so let's get started. But before we do, if you want to win this belt right here, you don't have to sell your soul and then risk the storyline being dropped. No, you can just, all you gotta do is comment below, subscribe to the channel, hit the bell notification. I'm gonna give it away at 20,000 subscribers. We're almost there. I'm trying to quit the day job, so help me out. Like the video too, so we get some engagement. Okay, let's go to let's break this down.
At Elimination Chamber, you ordered to John Cena, and then he kicks him right in the...
Pat McAfee just explaining, putting this into context, you started this, buddy. This is all you.
And then obviously, all roads lead of WrestleMania.
And for all Pat McAfee's faults, a lot of people don't like Pat McAfee. I actually do, but this guy, he's not like... It's weird that Pat McAfee exists within the WWE universe. He almost gets to say whatever he wants from a fan perspective with no repercussions. And so here he is clearly stating everything leads to WrestleMania, because The Rock's going to make it seem like, oh no, we can just do whatever we want, whenever we want. But Pat McAfee clearly states right here, everything leads to WrestleMania, especially the pay-per-view PLE a month before WrestleMania.
Was there a thought of you coming and...
Why? He's basically saying, why weren't you there? Did you at least think about it?
Let's start with John becoming the 17-time the GOAT.
He establishes John winning. He says that part was great. Now he segues into Mount Rushmore, the Mount Rushmore of WWE. And honestly, I think this is kind of a slight dig at Cody Rhodes here.
He's on Mount Rushmore now. Got to kick a guy off. Now Dusty goes in the back.
Now Dusty goes in the back. He's literally kicking Dusty Rhodes off his Mount Rushmore. I honestly believe that this is an insult directed at Cody Rhodes. I could be reading into it, I know, but Cody Rhodes has literally said that Dusty's on his.
My Mount Rushmore is going to be The Rock, John Cena, the Nature Boy Ric Flair, and then it's going to be my dad.
And The Rock has said multiple times that Dusty is his hero.
There's The Rock's hero, one of The Rock's heroes right there. Hard times. I love you.
So I can see Dusty being on The Rock's Hall of Fame. But here's the deal. Rumors are abound that The Rock originally wanted Cody to turn heel. But Cody fought back and didn't want to. Triple H didn't want him to either. And at first I was thinking, yeah, maybe these rumors aren't really legit. And I'll tell you what, there's been plenty of WrestleMania rumors that I kind of was like, no, I don't think that's legit, and then they came true. Drew McIntyre versus Damian Priest. That was a rumor that came true. Rock not showing up at WrestleMania. That rumor happened all the way back in October. And that rumor came true. And The Rock even went on Instagram and said, and don't believe any of that crap. Punk, Roman, Seth, I actually heard about that well in advance. And a lot of rumors actually came true. So I'm wondering if this rumor that The Rock wanted Cody to turn heel, but he said no. So then we went to John. I wonder if that rumor is true too. Everything else turned out to be true. Legit. I remember thinking to myself, wow, all of these leaks are coming true. And if Cody said no to The Rock, I can see The Rock being a little kind of ticked off about that.
I love you. I hate your son.
And so he kind of throws in there, oh yeah, I'm kicking Dusty off my Mount Rushmore.
At the end of the night, John raising that title, and I loved it.
So that's what The Rock is going to say a lot of times. That's all that matters, John raising the titles. We got there. That's all that matters.
I keep not only my finger on the pulse of things, but your whole hand. And that way, things meaning the fans and their sentiment.
Honestly, I wonder if that is a knock at Triple H, because over WrestleMania week, Triple H got into a lot of he got made fun of a lot from YouTubers and the internet wrestling community for saying that we weren't real, and I did it myself. I'm not gonna lie. However, I wonder if The Rock is saying, hey, listen, I listen to you guys. I listen to the fans. But that aside, let's push that away. This statement right here is telling, because it actually means that The Rock should know that he was expected at WrestleMania. He should know that ever since he appeared at Elimination Chamber, or the week before, 2 weeks before, we have been dying and salivating and just like coming up with all these scenarios on what's The Rock gonna do next? What's his plan? Is he gonna start a corporation? And it's not that we were mad that our fantasy booking didn't come true. It's just that we were anticipating his return based on the illogical assumption that the dude started the hottest angle before the biggest event. So he had to have known, because right here he says, I not only have my finger on the pulse, but I have my whole hand on the pulse to listen to the fans, so he would know that the fans were talking about his return.
I love that the fans are so engaged, they're so connected to John's heel run now.
So again, he knows that the fans are connected, they're engaged, but he can't be blind to the fact that we've been saying, well, what about The Rock? When are you going to explain yourself? So The Rock would know that he's still in the conversation.
I got a call a month before Elimination Chamber.
So this is the part where he starts talking about how this all came about. He's saying that he got a call a month before Elimination Chamber, meaning that none of this was really in the works. There was no real plan, because he just gets this random call from the owner of TKO.
From Ari Emanuel, who we know owns TKO. He said, we need help at Elimination Chamber. Ticket sales are a little slow.
Why are ticket sales so slow? Is it because we've marked them up to an ungodly amount that families can no longer afford to go? If you're not like a single person with 2 jobs, you can't really afford to go to these things, or you're just rich in general. Literally, the reason why ticket sales are slow in this boom period where everything else is up is because they're outpricing the fans. And because they outprice the fans, they have to call in The Rock to make people buy tickets. And then The Rock shows up and he completely destroys all of the long-term storytelling that Triple H has been doing. Listen, I heard a theory from Wrestle Talk, and it makes perfect sense. This storyline should have gone like this with Cody and John Cena, in that throughout the year, Cody Rhodes is systematically losing all of his friends. AJ Styles, Kevin Owens, CM Punk even calls him out before Royal Rumble.
I know what that title can do to a man.
And he's systematically getting lonelier and lonelier and lonelier, and it's almost like he's an island unto himself, and he's going into WrestleMania. It's like, is this guy going to turn on John Cena, who John Cena is going for his 17th title win as a babyface? And then at WrestleMania 42, we have the flip. John Cena turns heel to get the title. We all thought it would be Cody because he's getting isolated, but no, it's John Cena. John Cena turns heel, and it would make so much sense for such a monumental moment. One of the greatest heel turns that could have been of all time happens at 41, and not just the pay-per-view PLE leading into it, because it's like you, oh man, you have that huge monumental moment at WrestleMania. It's called WrestleMania moments for a reason.
With Elimination Chamber, it's become the conduit to WrestleMania.
Right there, it's the conduit to WrestleMania. So anything that happens at Elimination Chamber should play a part logically into WrestleMania. If you're going to do something at Elimination Chamber, it's the conduit. So it leads right into Wrestlemania. Therefore, if you are a part of Elimination Chamber, you should clear your schedule to be a part of Wrestlemania. Or don't change everything. Don't involve yourself in the biggest storyline of the last 20 years and then say, I'm out, I'm dip, bye, see ya.
I said, I have an idea.
But here's Rock's idea, his big old idea.
What's most important to the final boss isn't titles, it's not money, it's not fame.
Oh God, I forgot that he tried to explain. He tries to explain why he wanted Cody's soul. He literally says nothing. Listen to this. He literally says nothing.
Final boss wants your soul. And what does that mean? It doesn't mean, hey, the final boss wants you to act like this, be like this. What that means is whatever dreams you have, whatever ambitions you have, tell the final boss is going to make it all happen. And so what does the final boss get out of that? I get your soul for life.
I tried to come up with an analogy. I did. I sat here for like 10 minutes trying to come up with an analogy. I was like, well, it's kind of like, no. Well, maybe it's kind of like, no. It was so nothing. He said it was so nothing that I couldn't even come up with an analogy. Like, the best analogy I could come up with is like, it's the nothing from The Land Before Time, and the more I listened to it, the more it just like stole from me everything, my brain cells. That was the most nothing burger of all time.
Will Cody Rhodes sell his soul? It was a litmus test. How will fans respond?
Again, here The Rock says he's listening to the fans. He throws his storyline out there, and then he listens. He's completely listening, hand on the pulse, to all the fans. So I'm sure he heard maybe one or two of us say, I wonder when The Rock's coming back. I can't wait to see The Rock at WrestleMania 41.
There were a lot of fans who were saying, sell your soul.
Yeah.
A lot of fans. So he's hearing the fans. Can we establish that he's listening to the fans?
Whatever it is, it's compelling. It's going to be great. Let's do it.
And here he is also saying, I love this idea. Great idea, Rock. This is great. The fans are loving it. They're engaged. Everything. So you can see why maybe when Cody turns it down on the behest of Triple H, that maybe he gets his feelings hurt.
Sell your soul. Fans were loving it.
Fans were loving it. Rock was loving it. But Cody wasn't loving it. So, man, the more I see this, the more I can see The Rock just saying, well, you don't want to do it my way, fine. I'll just go home. That's fine. No, it's cool. It's cool. It's one of those like passive aggressive things like, hey guys, I got this great idea. Let's do this. And everyone's like, no, what if we did that instead? Oh yeah, that's like totally cool. Like that's a great idea. Anyways, I gotta go. Wait, where are you going? I thought we were gonna hang out. Oh yeah, I just forgot something came up. It's like laundry day in Hawaii, so I gotta go. I'm gonna totally watch WrestleMania 41 with you guys, but like I'll just be doing laundry as I do it. So that's an awesome idea, guys. Bye.
We were kicking ideas around, myself and Triple H.
Himself, Triple H.
And Triple H said, what about this? What about John?
So Rock is like, why don't we turn Cody heel? And they're like, nah, what about John? Oh, yeah. What about John? Cody. Now, Rock did say he loved the idea, though.
I said, I love it. Talk to John, see how he feels about it.
John has said many times that A, he never questions creative. They just give it to him and he makes the best of it. And B, he's always wanted to be a heel for a while now. So, like, John's going to do what John's going to do.
And this idea of him getting crowned at WrestleMania and becoming 17 and turning heel, and then being a heel champion.
Oh, was that a Freudian slip? He said, this idea of John getting the championship and turning heel. No. I mean turning heel and then getting the 17th championship. To be fair, I screw up my words all the time too. So like, I don't know. I'm just throwing it out there.
I did feel, and I made the call, I don't want to be involved in that.
He literally could have been one of the biggest storylines of all time. And he just says, I don't want to be a part of this anymore. I came to Elimination Chamber, the conduit to WrestleMania. I flipped the unflippable face of John Cena, the guy who's been the baby face and held the company for 25 years on his back, 20 years on his back. He's willing to do all of that, right? He's willing to do all that, but he's not willing to be at WrestleMania 41 when he watched it on TV at home.
Let the final boss step back into the shadows.
It was all favor. Final boss, stay in the shadows. Because whenever you come out, it's like, it makes no sense. You had this awesome WrestleMania 40, and then you come back and you're like, Cody Rhodes is now my best friend. And then it's like, what? Oh, that makes no sense. And then you come back, you do this amazing storyline of turning John Cena heel, and then when you come back, this is your comeback to say, yeah, I just didn't feel like being there anymore.
Let all the spotlight go to John, let it go to Cody.
If you wanted the spotlight to go to John, to go to Cody, then you should not have been in the angle to begin with. You could have showed up at Elimination Chamber still and not had such a drastic impact on this angle. You just could have.
Let's not make it about Cody's soul.
You made it about Cody's soul. Nobody even considered anything about a wrestler's soul since The Undertaker retired at WrestleMania 36. Never in a feud are we like, I wonder if his soul's intact. Not until The Rock shows up with a weight belt saying Cody's soul on it that we're all like, wonder what's going to happen with Cody's soul. Like, it never crossed my mind.
Let's let them do what they do.
Let's let them do what they do. They didn't want to do what I wanted to do, so they can just do whatever they want to do. And you might be like, well, yeah, you should have listened to the argument. But there's a fallacy in that argument. If he was going to really let them do what they were going to do, then he should never had got involved where they had to do what they were going to do based on the storyline that he set in motion. I'm mind-boggled. My mind is boggled.
And I called John, I called Cody, and I said, I think the final boss's work is done.
Hey guys, I know you had like a year of storytelling leading up to this Mania, but like I popped in for 2 weeks, 3 weeks, and yeah, I'm done. Have a good WrestleMania. Bye.
Pulled off the greatest angle in the history of professional wrestling, other than Hulk Hogan turning heel.
Honestly, it could have been the greatest angle in professional wrestling, or at least second to Hogan turning heel, but then The Rock doesn't show up. Could you imagine if if Hulk Hogan had turned heel in that moment, and then Hogan didn't show up again? Period. If you don't know what I'm talking about because you're like newer to wrestling, could you imagine if the WrestleMania Night 1 storyline, you know how it kind of all revolved around Paul Heyman, and Paul Heyman actually flipped and he sided with Seth Rollins? Could you imagine if this storyline, if the next night on Raw happened and Seth Rollins came out and didn't even talk about Paul Heyman? And then CM Punk came out and got mad and they fought, and then Roman Reigns came out and they get on the microphone and nobody says anything. Nobody says anything about Paul Heyman. There's just not a word mentioned about him for weeks and weeks and weeks. And even when it is, it's in passing. It's like, that wouldn't make sense.
This is amazing. We have 6 weeks. Now, let's build.
We have 6 weeks, let's build. Triple H is a long-term booker. Triple H has been there the whole time. And throughout WrestleMania season, I have been critical of Triple H, but we gotta be fair. You literally came in and disrupted everything, and then you left. You didn't even come in, disrupt everything, and say, I'm gonna be here with you. Now, you say that you're gonna be here with them, but you weren't. You left, dude, and that's, like, not fair. Like, go for it, guys. Like, no.
Always here if you need me, but I think it's best for the final boss not to be involved in that finish.
I'll be here if you need me, but don't need me because I'm not going to be here for you.
I love the finish of the match.
I love the finish of the match. I love that John won the title. Nothing else.
I would have finessed things a little differently on how they got there.
They didn't do it my way.
But that's just me creatively.
Just saying. If you can say the most awful things and then just end it with just saying. Well, you're just saying, so it's all right.
There are a lot of minds in the room.
Yeah, Triple H and Cody Rhodes, they didn't agree with me.
And I never had a concern about John.
Just some shade. Never had a concern about John, but everybody else, all the other minds in the room.
Let's talk about you saying the final boss needs to step away.
He's like, I still don't understand, Rock.
A lot of people just assumed you were going to show up.
Yeah. A lot of people assumed it. And Rock, you have your pulse. You know the pulse of the fans. Like, we just assumed it. That's fair.
So when Travis Scott comes out, they think there's a chance of maybe union from the Elimination Chamber.
Of course we thought that. Travis Scott was there at Elimination Chamber. Whether you want Travis Scott there or not don't matter. He was there at Elimination Chamber. Therefore, when he comes out here, it's logical to assume that he's coming, that The Rock is coming, a reunion.
Insert final boss in the end of this finish. But then where do we go?
What the heck does that mean? Why would you insert then the final boss to the beginning? Because where the heck do you go? Obviously, they didn't know where they were going because this is one of the worst WrestleMania endings of all time. And I'm sorry if you like the ending, but like I cannot get behind this fundamentally.
There's other commitments that I have.
Okay, that's fair. If you have other commitments, then don't make a commitment to the WWE universe. If I have a commitment to go to work, then I shouldn't make a commitment to my kids that I'm going to take them to the park.
Why get involved in that finish when the spotlight should just be on John 17?
Why get involved? Okay, because you started the storyline. B, you didn't have a problem getting involved last year. Last year, when 800 people got involved in Cody Rhodes finishing this story, and even Roman Reigns finishing the Bloodline story, it was okay to get involved then. It was okay to bring everybody and their brother out and mother out, and you're like, well, those are two different circumstances. Well, okay, fine. Then why is it okay to have Travis Scott out? The rapper. Like, Rock, are you going to really deter us so much from John Cena? No, you made it about three people, a three-person group at Elimination Chamber. Therefore, it was like totally okay with you coming out. In fact, you not being there was more of a distraction than it wasn't, because you started it.
I was just as surprised to see Travis Scott as well.
So he does say that he didn't know Travis Scott was going to be there. I find that weird. I mean, he's literally texting Pat McAfee as the main event is happening. I'm surprised that Travis Scott's not texting The Rock. But he says he was surprised. I don't know. There is a part of me that questions that he didn't know that Travis Scott was going to be there, because Travis Scott doesn't seem to be the type that really cares about kayfabe either, and he's going to keep it a secret.
But it was a great WrestleMania. Would have been awesome for
Oh, man.
Thank you, Pat, for that, at least. Thank you for saying great WrestleMania, but it would have been better if. Because it would have been better if The Rock had showed up. And I'm just so gravely disappointed that he did not. I've heard online people saying, well, this is Cody Crybaby's fault, and I don't agree with that. It's like last year, The Rock had a choice between taking himself out of the main event or not. He listened to the pulse of the fans and said, I'm going to take myself out. But this year, he did not listen to the pulse of the fans, and whatever happened, whether he got his feelings hurt, whether he's taking revenge from last year, whether he just thought this was a really good idea that he was not part, maybe he's being genuine. But if that's the case, like, he was just wrong. This, like, I just don't fully understand what happened. And I think there's a lot of backseat stuff. I don't think we're gonna get a making of the WrestleMania main event this year documentary, because I think it would unless they're gonna do a Dark Side of the Ring episode on this. But I don't know. This is my rant on this whole debacle. I view The Rock definitely in the wrong here, but what do you think? Tell me in the comments below. Boys, girls, have yourselves a great day.